Want to speak real Hindi from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at HindiPod101.com.
नमस्ते हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है। आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई। हाय, माय नेम इज प्रेरणा। नाइस टू मीट यू। वेलकम टू HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned how to count in Hindi. I hope you spent some time practicing the numbers because they'll come in handy today. We're going to learn how to go shopping in India. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is this? इसका भाव क्या है? इसका भाव क्या है? Are you ready to go shopping in India? Let's go. You see something you like and want to ask the shopkeeper how much it costs. The first thing to say to a shopkeeper is माफ कीजिए. Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. माफ कीजिए, इसका भाव क्या है? माफ कीजिए, इसका भाव क्या है? If we want to be more specific when asking how much is this and refer to a certain type of object, we just need to insert the object in between the word iska, between is and ka. Let's see an example. Suppose you want to buy a hat in the market. Hat in Hindi is topi. So, how much is this hat? इस टोपी का भाव क्या है? इस टोपी का भाव क्या है? But what if you want to buy several hats? Then you'd have to use a new word, inka, which means these. Excuse me, how much are these? In Hindi is माफ कीजिए, इनका भाव क्या है? माफ कीजिए, इनका भाव क्या है? At this point, the shopkeeper can answer by saying इसका दाम plus the cost plus है, or ये plus the cost plus का plus है. For example, इसका दाम 50 रुपए है, और ये 50 रुपए का है. What number is 50? I'm not telling you. Okay, it's 50. It costs 50 rupees. Now it's time for Prerna's points. Another very common way of asking how much is it is ये कितने का है? And if you want to be more specific and mention the thing you want to know the price of, all you need to do is insert the object after ये. ये सेव कितने का है? Which means how much is this apple? At this point, can you count rupees in Hindi? We are going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I'll be waiting for you in our next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. फिर मिलेंगे. See you then.
नमस्ते हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. Hi everybody, my name is Prerna. Welcome to HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? Do you speak English? In this lesson, we are going to learn how to apologize in Hindi. There are a number of ways to apologize, but in a formal situation, you should use माफ कीजिए. माफ कीजिए. The first word, maaf, literally means forgive, and कीजिए is a polite form of the verb meaning please do. Thus, this expression actually means something like forgive me, please. Now let's hear it again. माफ कीजिए. You use माफ कीजिए when you might have said or done something offensive, wrong, or embarrassing. Sometimes you'll also hear people say क्षमा कीजिए. क्षमा कीजिए. This means please excuse me or I'm sorry. In Hindi, we have many synonyms for a single expression, usually a more colloquial Urdu form and a Sanskrit form, which is used in more formal situations. This is the case with I'm sorry as well. Maaf kijiye is the Urdu form and the corresponding Sanskrit form in Hindi is Kshama kijiye. The informal way to say I am sorry is maaf karo. Maaf karo. Similarly, we could also say Kshama karo. Kshama karo. Let's review. Maaf kijiye or Kshama kijiye is a formal I am sorry or excuse me. Maaf karo or Kshama karo is the informal I am sorry or excuse me. These are all versatile phrases with a few different meanings depending on the situation. Whether you are trying to get someone's attention for a question, or making your way through a crowded area, or apologizing for stepping on someone's foot, these are all phrases you could use. Now, what if someone says maaf kijiye or kshama kijiye to you after having done something wrong? How would you respond? In this case, you could say कोई बात नहीं. कोई बात नहीं. This means something like it doesn't matter. कोई बात नहीं. Now it's time for Prerna's points. If someone bumps into you on the streets in India, don't expect an excuse me, especially in the big cities. Big crowds are very common and so is bumping into each other. Indians are usually very friendly people. But this does not seem like something worthy of an apology. Unless someone pushes you over so hard you fall on the ground, keep walking. Are you able to count in Hindi? In the next lesson, we will learn the numbers in Hindi from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next lesson. Shukriya. और फिर मिलेंगे.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.
Hello everyone, welcome back to HindiPod101.com, the easiest, smartest and quickest way to learn Hindi online. My name is Anuj Khurana and today we are going to learn the most commonly used words in Hindi. Namaste. Hello. So our first word is Namaste. So this is a very courteous way of saying hello in Hindi. So whenever we want to greet someone in Hindi, we just fold our hands and say Namaste, which means hello in English. Suprabhat. Good morning. Moving on to the next word, which is Suprabhat, which means good morning. Shubh Ratri. Good night. Shubh Ratri, which means good night. Shubh Sandhya. Good evening. Shubh Sandhya, which means good evening. Aapka naam kya hai? What is your name? Moving on to the next set of words, which is Aapka naam kya hai, which means in English, what is your name? मैं हूँ. I am. So to reply to this question, we can always answer like मेरा नाम अनुज खुराना है. My name is Anuj Khurana. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Nice to meet you. आपको मिलके खुशी हुई. Nice to meet you. आप कैसे हैं? How are you? So our next set of words is asking someone that how they are doing. आप कैसे हैं? How are you? जी मैं ठीक हूँ. और आप? I'm fine, thanks. And you? So to reply to this question, we can always answer like मैं ठीक हूँ. I'm fine, thank you. कृपया. Please. कृपया, which means please. Whenever we are requesting someone, we always use this word कृपया. कृपया आप मुझे अपना पेन दे दीजिए. Please give me your pen. So always remember, कृपया is a very courteous way of saying please. धन्यवाद. Thank you. Our next word is Thank you. धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद आपने मुझे यहाँ पर बुलाया. Thank you for inviting me here. कोई बात नहीं. You're welcome. कोई बात नहीं, which means you're welcome. So whenever someone is saying thank you to us, like धन्यवाद in Hindi, we can always address them like कोई बात नहीं. You're welcome. हाँ, yes. So the next word is हाँ, which means yes. हाँ, मेरा नाम अनुज खुराना है. Yes, my name is Anuj Khurana. नहीं, no. So opposite to yes, the next word is no. नहीं. नहीं, मैं आज डिनर नहीं खाऊंगा. No, I'm not going to have dinner tonight. ठीक है. Okay. ठीक है, which means okay in English. ठीक है, आज आप थोड़ा लेट आ जाना. Okay, you can come a bit late today. मुझे माफ कीजिएगा. Excuse me. मुझे माफ कीजिएगा, which means excuse me. मुझे क्षमा करें. I'm sorry. मुझे क्षमा करें, which means please forgive me. मुझे क्षमा करें, आज मैं थोड़ा लेट हूँ. Please forgive me, I'm a bit late today. शौचालय कहाँ है? Where is the restroom? शौचालय कहाँ है? Which means where is the restroom? एक मिनट रुकिए. Wait a moment. Our next set of words are एक मिनट रुकिए, which means wait a moment. एक मिनट रुकिए, मैं अभी वापस आता हूँ. Wait a moment, I'll be back. यह कितने का है? How much is this? यह कितना है? How much is it? It is like asking someone like, how much is this? How much is this number? यह कितना है? क्या मुझे चेक मिल सकता है? Can I get the check, please? क्या मुझे चेक मिल सकता है? Which means, can I get the check, please? बधाई हो. Congratulations. बधाई हो, which means congratulations. बधाई हो, आप हिंदी पॉड 101 से हिंदी सीख रहे हैं. Congratulations, you are learning Hindi from hindipod101.com. फिर मिलेंगे. See you later. फिर मिलेंगे, which means see you again. अपना ध्यान रखिएगा. Take care. Coming to the end of this lesson, so our next word is अपना ध्यान रखिएगा, which means take care. Alvida. Goodbye. So the last word for this lesson is alvida. Goodbye. Alvida, हम जल्द ही मिलेंगे. Goodbye, we're gonna meet again. So that's all from today's lesson, and I hope you all enjoyed learning these new words, which are quite easy, and these are the words which are most commonly used in Hindi. I hope you liked our video, and if you did so, please click on the like button and subscribe to our channel, which is hindipod101.com. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll be back with few more Hindi lessons to make you learn Hindi while you are sitting at home. Goodbye, take care.
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Hindi. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Venus.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Hindi grammar.
Did you know that Hindi doesn't use articles?
Really? That means you don't have to worry about where to put a and where to add an and where to use the?
Yes. Doesn't that make things easier?
It definitely does. What about gender? How is it indicated in Hindi?
Firstly, there is no he or she in Hindi. you can use the same pronoun for both genders.
Great!
But the verbs do change depending on the gender of the person speaking and the gender of the person you are speaking to.
Oh, that is quite complicated.
Not really. It is usually quite simple. If a verb uses e at the end, it means it is feminine. But if it uses a at the end, it means it is masculine. We will go through a few examples later in this lesson to find out just how easy it is.
Also, in Hindi, there is no neutral gender. Every object is either masculine or feminine.
Yes, so an auto rickshaw is masculine and a bus is feminine.
But there isn't a need to worry about getting the gender of all objects correct in the beginning. This is something you'll catch on to as you go on learning Hindi. How about we look at an example of verbs and how they change based on gender? Let's begin with the verb to do.
Sure, in Hindi, to do is karna. If you are female, you would say karti, and if you are male, you would say karta. So, the last vowel changes. It is e for females and a for males. Yes, the same goes when you address someone. If they are female, use e at the end of the verb, and if they are male, use a at the end.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about articles, we don't have to worry about pronouns being gender-based, but we have to be concerned about verbs being based on gender?
Yes, that's right.
How about we go on and take a look at some personal pronouns now?
In Hindi, the first person singular pronoun is main.
And it doesn't matter whether you're female or male. You can use the same pronoun.
Yes, the first person plural pronoun is hum.
While there's only one first-person singular pronoun in Hindi, there are 3 second-person singular pronouns, right?
Yes, they are tu, tum and aap. Tu is used in a very informal way, something you will use with a very close friend. Tum is also informal, but not as much as tu. It is something you may want to use with a friend, a close colleague, your kids, your siblings, or even your spouse. But aap is the formal form of address. It is something that you would like to use at your office while addressing your parents, strangers, or your elders. The interesting thing is that you can use tum and aap as the second person plural too. But generally, a word like all or people is added to tum and aap to make the second person plural. So, you could say tum log or aap log, where log means people. Or you could say tum sab or aap sab, where sab means all.
Good. So we learned 2 more words here, for people and all.
Yes, log means people and sab means all. Let's check the third person singular now. For he, she, it, this, we use ye. And for he, she, it, that, we use veh. The plural will be ye for these and veh for those.
So, how about we try and make some sentences now?
Sure, we can. But before we actually go on to forming sentences, we will need to know a little more about the various forms of the verb to be.
Of course, to be is an important verb not only in Hindi but also in English. Without knowing about how to use it, it's very difficult to form sentences. Imagine having no am, are, were, was, have, or has in English. There would be no sentences. So, what is to be in Hindi?
It is hona.
How would we say I am in Hindi?
For I am, hona changes to hu. Main hu. We are becomes hum. Hum hai. Where hona changes to hai. With tum, you use hai. And tum, you use ho. And with aap, you use hai.
That means the to be form is the same for plural and for respectful address.
Yes, it is hai.
Does it change depending on whether a man speaks or a woman?
No, it doesn't. We have 3 versions of hona, and these are hu, hai, hain.
Great! So now we can make a sentence.
Definitely.
How would you say, I am Alicia?
That would be मैं अलीशा हूँ. So, the order of the words is I, Alicia, am, or pronoun, noun, verb.
That means, unlike English, the noun comes before the verb in Hindi.
Yes, indeed.
Let's try out a few more sentences. How about, I am good? How would we say that in Hindi?
मैं अच्छा हूँ if you are male. मैं अच्छी हूँ if you are female. Did you notice how for males the word good becomes अच्छा and for females it becomes अच्छी?
Yes, indeed. What about the plural version of the Hindi word for good?
That would be अच्छे. This would also be used if you are using a respectful address for a male. आप अच्छे हैं. Generally, the respectful form when addressing males is the same as the plural version.
That makes things quite simple. But good is an adjective. Does that mean that all adjectives also change depending on the gender?
Not always, but sometimes they do. You will pick this up as you practice the language more and more.
Okay, but what about past tense?
Was becomes था or थे or थी.
So, how would you say, how are you?
आप कैसे हैं और आप कैसी हैं.
And how would you answer that?
मैं अच्छा हूँ if you are male और मैं अच्छी हूँ if you are female.
Wow, we learned a lot about Hindi grammar today. Let's recap what we've learned in this lesson. In this lesson, we learned that there are no articles in Hindi. The pronouns are not gender-based, but the verbs are never neutral. They're always masculine or feminine. We also learned that you can use 3 variations of the word you, depending on whether you want to use a formal, informal, or a little more informal version. We also learned how the verb to be changes depending on whether the sentence is singular, plural, formal, or informal. And of course, we also learned how to say, how are you? And how to answer this very important question. We just learned the basics of Hindi grammar. In the next lesson, we'll learn the basics of Hindi writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
धन्यवाद and namaste.
Namaste, welcome to HindiPod101.com, the easiest way of learning Hindi online. My name is Anuj Khurana and today I am going to tell you how to say I love you in Hindi. Yes, you heard it right. Today you are going to learn how to say I love you in Hindi and also a special phrase for a special day, which is Valentine's Day. So let's start with the most commonly used phrase, which is मैं तुम्हें प्यार करता हूँ. मैं तुम्हें प्यार करता हूँ, which means I love you. You need to understand that this is a direct phrase. So you should use this only when you are confessing your love. I'll repeat this one again. मैं तुम्हें प्यार करता हूँ. Okay, so if you want to be less direct, then you can use this phrase. तुम मेरे लिए बहुत महत्व रखती हो. तुम मेरे लिए बहुत महत्व रखती हो, which means you mean a lot to me. तुम मेरे लिए बहुत महत्व रखती हो. Well, if you are a romantic person and you want to be romantic to express yourself, this is the phrase for you. शब्द आपके लिए मेरे प्यार का वर्णन नहीं कर सकते. शब्द आपके लिए मेरे प्यार का वर्णन नहीं कर सकते. Which means words cannot describe my love for you. So you have just learned 3 ways of saying I love you in Hindi. But what if you want to spend your Valentine's with someone special? So then this is the phrase for you if you want to ask someone to spend their Valentine with you. क्या तुम मेरी Valentine's बनोगी? क्या तुम मेरी Valentine's बनोगी? Which means, will you be my Valentine? So let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what all we have learned today. Just listen to all the phrases and words and repeat them after me. I love you. मैं तुम्हें प्यार करता हूँ. मैं तुम्हें प्यार करता हूँ. You mean so much to me. तुम मेरे लिए बहुत महत्व रखती हो. तुम मेरे लिए बहुत महत्व रखती हो. Words can't describe my love for you. शब्द आपके लिए मेरे प्यार का वर्णन नहीं कर सकते हैं. शब्द आपके लिए मेरे प्यार का वर्णन नहीं कर सकते हैं. Will you be my Valentine? क्या तुम मेरी वैलेंटाइन बनोगी? क्या तुम मेरी वैलेंटाइन बनोगी? So here is a quick fun fact for you all. In most of the countries, the most commonly used gift is chocolate, but not in India. In India, people exchange cards more than giving chocolates. So if you have your loved one in India, write a letter in Hindi. Your loved one will be happy to receive it rather than any other gifts. Well, you have just learned 3 different ways of saying I love you in Hindi and a special phrase for Valentine's Day. Also, don't forget to download your free cheat sheet on how to be a good lover in India, including words for romance, compliments, and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to hindipod101.com now. I'll see you all next time. Till then, goodbye. Take care. Namaste. Bye-bye.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.
नमस्ते, हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Hi, my name is Prerna. Nice to meet you. Welcome to HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Hindi. In this series, we're going to learn basic Hindi expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Hindi. There are only 2 sentences you need to know. Namaste, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Hi, my name is Prerna. Nice to meet you. Start by saying Namaste. Then say मेरा नाम, then your name, and then say है. Please repeat after me. Namaste. मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. Finally, say आप, से मिलकर खुशी हुई. Together we have नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है, आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Let's take a closer look at the first sentence. The first word is namaste. Namaste in Hindi is equivalent to hello, which can be used at any time of the day. Next is mera. The word mera means my. This is a way to refer to yourself, which can be used by both men and women. Next, we have naam. The word naam means name. Then you say your name. And finally, we have hai. Hai is attached to the end of the sentence and literally means to exist. In the first sentence, we have the construction mera plus naam plus your name plus hai. The structure of simple Hindi sentences is different from English. In Hindi, the word order is subject, object, verb. The second sentence we have is aapse milkar khushi hui. Aapse milkar khushi hui can be used by both men and women. It means nice to meet you. It's used when meeting someone for the first time. Aap se milkar khushi hui. Aap se milkar khushi hui. Now it's time for Prerna's points. Indian people don't generally shake hands. You're better off using the namaste gesture. However, in a business situation, you might want to use a handshake. Shaking hands is more common in big cities where Western customs are more familiar. Do you know how we say thank you in Hindi? You will learn how to say this and many other words in the next lesson. फिर मिलेंगे. See you then.
नमस्ते, हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है.
Namaste, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. Hi everybody, my name is Prerna. Welcome to HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greeting in Hindi. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Hindi, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if their answer is no. Let's start with a formal expression. First, though, we need to make a note that in Hindi, verbs change depending on the number and gender of the noun. So, when asking a man if he speaks English, you would say, क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? But to ask a woman if she speaks English, you'd say, क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलती हैं? क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलती हैं? Let's have a closer look at this sentence by breaking it down. क्या? Kya is a question marker which comes at the beginning of the sentence. Next is aap. Aap means you. This is the respectful word for you and is used in formal situations. You should always use it with people you don't know or with elders. Next we have Angrezi. Angrezi means English. Next is bolte. Bolte means to speak. It is used when the subject is masculine. We use bolti when the subject is feminine. And finally, hai. Hai is a sentence ending particle used with the formal you. Once more, for a man, it's क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? And for women, क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलती हैं? क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलती हैं? We are now going to make this sentence informal. First, we need to use the informal version of you, which is tum. If we change the word for you, we will also change the sentence ending particle to ho. Everything else stays the same. When speaking to younger people, it's acceptable to use the informal form. In which case, you will say, क्या तुम अंग्रेजी बोलते हो? to ask a young man or a boy. Or क्या तुम अंग्रेजी बोलती हो? To ask a young woman or a girl. Again, for a boy, क्या तुम अंग्रेजी बोलते हो? And for a girl, क्या तुम अंग्रेजी बोलती हो? The responses you will receive could be one of these three. हाँ, yes, हाँ, थोड़ी बहुत, a little, थोड़ी बहुत, नहीं, no I don't, नहीं. Now, let's review one more time. To ask a man in a formal situation if he knows English, we would say, क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? To ask a woman in a formal situation if she knows English, we would say, क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलती हैं? To ask a man in an informal situation if he knows English, we would say, क्या तुम अंग्रेजी बोलते हो? To ask a woman in an informal situation if she knows English, we would say, क्या तुम अंग्रेजी बोलती हो? Now it's time for Prerna's points. India was once for a long time part of the British Empire, and so today English is one of the national languages of India. When visiting tourist areas, you are sure to meet many people who can communicate with you in English. Still, a large part of the population can't understand English, and you can never go wrong if you learn the local language. How do you say I'm sorry in Hindi? In the next lesson, we'll learn ways to apologize. It's never too late to show your good manners with Indian people. I'll see you in our next lesson. फिर मिलेंगे.
नमस्ते. हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. Hi everybody, my name is Prerna. Welcome to HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Hindi. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use good manners when we thank people. क्या आप तैयार हैं? Are you ready? तो चलिए शुरू करें. So let's begin. There are several ways to thank someone, but let's start with the easiest. It's just one word. Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad means thank you. You can emphasize dhanyavad by adding bahut, which means very much. So it becomes bahut dhanyavad. Bahut dhanyavad. In Hindi, there are other ways to express one's gratitude. Dhanyavad comes from Sanskrit and it sounds quite formal. That's why some people prefer to use Urdu expressions, which are felt to be more colloquial. A more colloquial expression for thank you in Hindi is shukriya. Shukriya can also be preceded by bahut, which means very much. Bahut shukriya. Bahut shukriya. So now you have learned how to say thank you in Hindi. But how will you reply if someone else says thank you to you? In Hindi, your welcome is sometimes expressed as swagat hai. The expression swagat hai means welcome. Swagat hai. You can also respond to someone who has thanked you by using another expression. This is koi baat nahi, which literally means it's nothing. Koi baat nahi. So, when someone says dhanyavad to you, you can simply reply with swagat hai or koi baat nahi. Now it's time for Prerna's points. Just as with the expressions for thank you and please, Indians do not always use you're welcome in everyday situations. It's a concept literally translated from English. Native speakers often show politeness simply by using polite pronouns and verb forms while speaking. Do you know what fir milenge means? In our next lesson, you'll learn this and other greetings in Hindi. Shukriya or fir milenge.
नमस्ते. हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है.
Namaste. मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. Hi everybody, my name is Prerna. Welcome to HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned how to show gratitude to people by saying Dhanyavad. In this lesson, we'll learn some of the most common greetings used in India. क्या आप तैयार हैं? Are you ready? तो चलिए शुरू करें. So, let's begin. Let's start with a greeting you're sure to have heard before. Namaste. This is a word that is so closely associated with India and Indian culture that it has become famous all over the world. Namaste. Namaste. The word namaste is made out of two Sanskrit words, nama and te, which have been joined to mean I salute you. We use namaste as a formal as well as a friendly greeting. It's used when people meet at any time of the day, morning, noon, or evening. A slightly more formal variation on namaste, which you may or may not have heard before, is namaskar. Namaskar. Use this and you'll surely impress your Indian friends. In Hindi, using different greetings for each time of the day is not very common. When talking with friends, we usually just use the English phrases. But there are equivalent Hindi versions. They're just not used that often. If you meet someone before noon, you can say Suprabhat. Suprabhat. For later in the day, you can say Shubh Sandhya. Shubh Sandhya. But for most of the time, you can just say Namaste and not worry about it. As we learned in this lesson, Namaste can mean both hello and goodbye. However, this is not the only way of saying goodbye in Hindi. A parting expression that we can use for all occasions is Fir milenge, which means see you. Fir milenge. Fir milenge. The first word fir means again, and the second word milenge means we will meet. Let's look at one more expression, alvida. Alvida is an Urdu word which means goodbye. Alvida. It is an appropriate choice when parting for a long time. Now, it's time for Prerna's points. The easiest way of saying your goodbyes in Hindi is by using Namaste. Take a slight bow with folded hands and say Namaste. Namaste and Namaskar both come from Sanskrit and mean something like I honor you or I bow to you. In the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase क्या आप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं? Do you already know it? We'll be waiting to talk about it with you in our next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. फिर मिलेंगे.
नमस्ते. हिंदी पॉड 101.com में स्वागत है.
नमस्ते. मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Hi, my name is Prerna. Nice to meet you. Welcome to HindiPod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Have you forgotten? Here I'll tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And now let's continue from 11. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19 and finally we have 20, 20. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hindi numbers from 1 to 100 are quite irregular with no definite pattern. So the only way to learn them is to memorize them. It might seem daunting at first, but you'll soon recognize a rough pattern. Let's get started with the tens. 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. While you have to memorize many of the numbers, there is a trick that will make memorizing them incredibly easy. Notice that 30 is 30 and 40 is 40. Do you remember what 3 and 4 are in Hindi? Well, let me remind you. 3 is 3 and 4 is 4. As you can see, the sound T of 3, which is 3, is used in 30 or 30. 3, 30. Similarly, the sound cha in 4, which is 4, is used in 40 or 40. 4, 40. 5 in Hindi is 5, while 50 is 50. The common sound is pa. However, this does not apply to all numbers. 60 in Hindi is 60, while 6 is 6. As you can see, there is no common sound. 6, 60. The last thing to learn in this lesson is how to form compound numbers above 20. You already know that the number patterns in Hindi are quite irregular, so you might be wondering if you have to memorize each and every compound number. The answer is yes, you do. However, we are going to make your life a bit easier with our brilliant tip. For any numbers between 20 and 99, you read a variation of the number in the ones followed by the number in the tens. Let's try it out. How would you say 34 in Hindi? You first say a variation of 4 followed by a variation of 30. So 34 is literally read as 430, which is 34. Here, chaun is a variation of the number 4 or 4 and 30 is 30. 34. 61 is 61, which is literally read as 160. Ik is a variation of ek for 1, while sat is a variation of sat for 60. Iksat. Let's look at one more number, 95. In Hindi, it's 95, which is literally read as 590. Pancha is a variation of 5 for 5, and Nave is a variation of 90 for 90. Panchanave. After only 2 lessons, you're now able to count to 100 in Hindi. In the next lesson, we are going to put your number knowledge to use. Do you have all the skills you need to go shopping in India? If not, I'll be waiting for you in our next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. Fir milenge. See you then.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.